Seint Customer Appreciation Day is coming July 7th, so mark your calendars. And today I'm going to share the goodies that I know because there's lots of surprises in store that even us artists are not aware of. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sami George. I'm an independent makeup artist with Seint Beauty, and today we are going to talk about the new highlight and contour shades that have been made available for artists only. I'm going to share the details that I know of for the customer appreciation party, and we're going to do a little get ready with me and see how the new shades look on my skin. So if you're interested in checking it out, please stick around, and as always, thanks for being here. So let's talk customer appreciation party. Mark your calendars. July 7th is the annual 1 day a year thank you celebration day to our amazing customers. And if you've been around Seint for a while, you know Seint does not do a lot of sales or discounts on their products. So whenever there's an opportunity to get a little something more for your money, I highly suggest that you check it out. And I'm going to tell you what I know. And it's not a lot because they're keeping most things a secret. But we do know that it's a travel-inspired summer abroad theme. So I'm curious to see what comes with that. In addition to that, they are doing a discount on purchase starting at $150, and then it builds up from there. Here's the only other thing that we know. Seint is going to add to their highlight and contour set. So if you are new to 3D foundation, highlight and contour is what makes up your three-dimensional foundation look. And these are the shades that we have right now that I just showed you, but they're going to be adding 4, and they did give artists an opportunity to purchase them ahead of time so that if they happen to be your perfect shade, we can get you color matched before the party and you can take advantage of the new shades that we have. Okay, so in addition to these 4 shades that I'm going to show you, we have 3 highlights and 1 contour. I am confident that there are more new products or some favorites from our limited edition collection coming back on the 7th. And I know last year, if you were around, they did the Fruit Punch collection, which was watermelon, cherry, tangerine, and pineapple scented, kind of like Jolly Rancher, lip and cheeks with a little pop of color. And then they had a bunch of gifts with purchase. And I'm trying to think, I can't even remember. It was definitely the biggest Seint day of the year. So I'm very curious to see what comes back or what's new. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Sunshine State and maybe even Lolly will be in the mix. Those are definitely 2 summer favorites that I know I've been waiting to see return. So we're going to jump right in and we're going to take a peek. So I'm not going to lie, I did open them, but I haven't swatched them yet. So we're going to do first impressions with swatches here, and then we're going to try them out on the face. So if you are new around here, I don't love to swatch highlight and contours because you are never going to wear the color at full opacity. So you'll never see me like swatching for the purposes of resourcing. The best thing that you can do to make sure that you have the correct color for your skin and your skin needs is to get a custom color match. But I'm going to show you what Seint has told us that they compare to, just to kind of see where they might fit for you. And then we're just going to try them. I have no idea if it's going to work. Some are darker than I usually use, some are lighter than I usually use, but we're going to play around. So let's get started. I pulled out some of the shades that they said that these new highlights and contours were either going to like compare to or what they might be in between. So we're going to start with Palace. Now, Palace is a light highlight shade with a pink undertone. So they are saying that it is 1 shade darker than Versailles. So let's give it a shot. Let's see. So this is Versailles. And you will see. Now remember, we never wear these at full opacity. So like what it looks like in the tin is never what it's going to look like exactly on your face. If you have to wear it this heavy to get coverage, you have the wrong shade. But this is Versailles. So this was our first and only pink undertoned shade. And now we have Palace. Let me wipe off my finger here and let's see. See how it compares. Okay. So yes, it is definitely a little bit darker. You can see the pink undertone in that even more. And I'm thinking that, so my undertone, I usually use white peach for my brightener because my undertones are more white than they are yellow or pink. But I think today we're going to try this as a brightener and see how it looks. So number 2 is Hazel. And I'm excited about this shade because they are saying, they being Seint, is saying that Hazel is between Sandy and Mango. So I'm gonna show you right now, my main shade has been Athens. One up from Athens is Sandy, and here is Mango. So they're saying that this shade is gonna be right in between, which I think, if true, is going to be awesome for those of you that are getting a little warmer and you typically wear Mango Sandy. So if Mango is your color corrector and Sandy is your main shade, this little one in between might be your perfect combination. And I'm just gonna try it as my main shade today and see. So let me swatch from Athens through Mango what these look like. So this is my typical main shade. This is Athens. This is what I wear when I have more warmth in my skin in the summer. In the winter, I'm typically Candlelit, which is even one more neutral down from there. Then we have Sandy, which is also neutral, but let me get a little more on the finger. But one shade darker. So this is Athens and this is Sandy. And now we have the new Hazel. So let's see, get the film off the top there. And it is definitely darker and warmer. So now I'm very curious how this is going to look on my face. But we have Athens, which is my current main shade, Sandy, and now Palace. Let's see if I swatch that down a little bit. Did I say Palace? I think I keep saying Palace. It's Hazel. And let's see how it compares to Mango. Well, this could be interesting. So what I typically do is my color corrector is Mango and my main shade is Athens. So I think, I'm curious how dark this is gonna look on my skin. So I'm probably gonna be really light-handed with my Mango and put this over the top and see if it really has some color correction power to it. So we may have to report back. So the last new shade that we have for highlights is Golden Hour. And Golden Hour is supposed to be between Mango and Goddess. So you know the magic of Mango. Mango is like the color corrector that 90% of my clients use. It takes care of like all the things, the dark under eyes, the redness, the acne. It's just pure goodness. But sometimes if you have really dark under eyes or you're like me and you're dealing with acne scarring, sometimes the depth of that color is a little bit deeper than even Mango can color correct. So I'm very curious to see if Golden Hour is going to be that shade that's gonna do that. Because you know, if you have really, really dark under eyes, there's a very good chance that I have matched you to Papaya then Mango. But for somebody with deep scarring in their acne, I've tried on my skin tone, Papaya Mango is too dark. So this is what we're gonna try today. I have added Golden Hour into the palette. This is gonna serve as our color corrector today. We're just gonna go all in with Golden Hour on color correction and see what happens. And then we have Hazel and we have Palace. Now let's take a peek at our new contour. So our newest contour is Cedar. So this is a darker, but a little bit warmer color. So if you wear Astoria, they're saying that this is in the Astoria depth family, but warmer. And I wear Astoria. So Astoria tends to be a little bit ashier, a little bit cooler. And I typically wear that because I have a lot of redness in this area. So if I put something warm in my contour area on top of area that I have that underlying redness, sometimes it pulls through. But we're gonna see based on the depth of this today, how it holds up. Go ahead and swatch it. Get that film off the top here. And now we have Cedar. Ooh. Okay, so it definitely has some of that warmth to it, but it is a deeper shade. Let's see what it looks like in comparison to Astoria. And I'm gonna try it with indigo as well. So here's Astoria, and that's my typical everyday go-to contour. Now let's take a look in comparison to indigo. And here is indigo. And a little scab on the arm there. So we have cedar, Astoria, and indigo, which you can see we have, this is the coolest. It's definitely the warmest. And this kind of looks like it falls somewhere in between. So we're gonna play today. I'm gonna add this one to my palette and we are gonna get started and see what our new shades look like. So we have our palette ready to go. I added some Bella Bronzer, an Illuminator, and 2 Lip and Cheeks to the double layer. And let's do this. So we are gonna start with color corrector. Typically my color corrector, like I said, is Mango, but I'm gonna start with the golden hour, which is between Mango and Goddess, and see what it looks like. Because I don't know what I'm getting into. I'm gonna go in with a small fine tip for my acne, and I'm gonna use the fluffy end of the spot brush for the areas where I would normally use my blush and bronzer brush, just to make sure I start really light-handed, because this color is even deeper than Mango. We got a little bit more on the brush than typical because they are sometimes creamier when you open it up, but let's just see. So Mango is my first choice all the time for color correction for my depth of skin and my skin concerns. This is gonna be a little bit darker and we're gonna give it a shot. So I'm just starting out, as I always do, with light buffing or pressing motions onto the face. When you're doing your color corrector, you really want to work it in to the skin so that you're using the lightest hand of makeup, but targeting that area of discoloration. So we're starting here. We're starting to tone that down a little bit. I'm gonna go out here. And when you're looking at your face, you're always looking for those areas of skin color concern. So do you have redness? Do you have dark under eyes, acne scarring, anything of that nature? And if you were color matched by me, your discoloration that we talked about in your color match is marked on your personal face map in blue. So then on the daily, you want to take a look at your skin and say, where do I have discoloration today? Because I don't know about you, but my skin changes on the daily. So I have these areas of redness, hyperpigmentation, the dark under eyes, the scar on my nose, broken capillaries, and then the acne scarring. And I'm just going to pinpoint these areas with our new shade, Golden Hour. All right, so first impression, it's doing a pretty good job of toning down that depth of discoloration that I have in my acne scarring. So you guys know with Seint makeup, you want to color correct the darkest points of your skin first in order to get the best longevity and wear from your makeup throughout the day. By targeting those dark points, we neutralize them, and then we can use the lightest hand of makeup possible to get a really skin-like finish. So for me, I have added a little bit of that to my under eyes, and I have targeted the discoloration that I have from acne. Now I'm gonna go to the small end of the blush bronzer brush. I'm just gonna tap on one little tap at a time, and I'm gonna start adding this to the areas of the face that are a little bit larger, that I have that redness or that discoloration. So the scar on my nose, this part on my cheeks. And as long as this is the first shade that you put down, the best way you can add this to the skin in the lightest layer is to buff it. So these small circular motions will really work that onto the skin well. All right, my first thoughts are not sure that it has toned down this area the same way that my Mango would. But it's definitely better on this side right here. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more with my finger, pressing it on. But I do think it's done a really good job on my acne scarring. What do you guys think? And it's definitely better. There is no doubt that it has some color correction ability. I'll be curious to see how this holds up throughout the day. Let's go in and quickly do this side. And remember, you are only color correcting the areas of your skin that have discoloration. Mine just happens to be like from my eyebrows down. So you're just targeting the darkest points of your face with your color corrector. All right, so I finished up color correction with Golden Hour. And because I'm gonna use a shade that is a little bit warmer than I typically do over top, I'm just gonna make sure that I had the lightest layer by using my Perfector, which you guys always know, I use my Perfector at the end, but let's make sure we just have light-handed coverage, but we have pretty good coverage on our discoloration. Let's go ahead and add our main shade, and today it's gonna be Hazel. Remember, Hazel is this darker one down here. Typically I'm up here, so let's go. I'm gonna grab the small end of the blush bronzer brush, and I'm just gonna tap in once. I'm gonna be really light-handed. Let's see, pressing this on anywhere that I color corrected, and then anywhere that I want coverage, which is what you're gonna do as well. So I have color corrector all throughout this area. I did put a little around my mouth, add a little bit of mascara. We're pretty close. Pretty close, maybe a little bit darker. Very interesting. If you know how the makeup works, you can tweak most shades. Often like the ones that are darker, it's a little bit harder to get a light shade to work, because if you know anything about this makeup, the lighter you go, the more it shows your fine lines and wrinkles and texture. So you want to make sure that you're always going darker. This actually doesn't look too bad. It's probably a little bit warmer than I would normally wear my makeup. Today we're just experimenting with the new shades. I have pretty good coverage on my acne, and I'm just a little bit darker than my neck. So we could always add a little bit of bronzer down the neck if we really wanted to even things out. But let's move into our contour. So our contour is cedar, and remember, cedar is going to be around the depth of Astoria, but it's going to be a little bit warmer. I can see, okay, so around this area, I can see that it is a little bit warmer, but I definitely like the depth. With my regular main shade not having as much warmth as this main shade does, this could probably be a pretty good option. I actually really like that. So we are just pressing in, starting around the top of our ear, flicking up to get a good blend. And remember, your contour is going to be the driest of all of these, so you may have to press in a little bit more. I'm just using half the brush so that I can get a nice slim contour line and then kind of blend it up as I go. Go around the top of the forehead. I'm gonna push it up into the hairline and down onto the forehead so we don't have any harsh lines. I'm gonna take a little bit underneath the jawline. I'm actually really liking this. I might be trying this one a little more frequently. I think overall the tone of my face is a little bit warmer than I would want with these shades, but I'm very much digging the new contour shade here. Under the chin. And then make sure you pull that down the neck so that you don't have any harsh lines. And I'm going to avoid contouring on the nose today because I have the scar on my nose, I've already added a little bit more warmth, and a warm contour would likely just pull that more noticeable. Add a little bit underneath the lip. Pop that lip out. Remember, with highlight and contour, we're using contour in the areas that we want our face to recede, to sculpt, to kind of draw back, and then brightener in the middle where we want it to pull forward. So today we're going to mix it up. We are going to try the new Palace and see. So I like a light and bright under eye, but not to the point where it emphasizes texture. So I guess I should say I'm like somewhere in the middle. I don't go super bright, but enough to see, and it's typically white base, so I can see this pulls a little bit pink on me, or at least with the warmth of the colors underneath. But it's not nearly as bright as Versailles is on me. So I would say that's a fair assessment to say that it's a little bit darker than Versailles would be. And we will make sure that we marry all of this together at the end with our perfector. So we start to look a little bit makeup-y because there is quite a difference. So typically between like your main shade and your brightener, you're going about 2 to 3 shades different in between, I should say, in order to get like a light and bright under eye without emphasizing a lot of texture. For me, this is definitely farther apart than I would probably go. At least, well, whether it's about the same depth of white peach, it might be. I should swatch them by each other, but the different tone, I can see a little bit more texture on the face. But when we are adding our brightener, we're typically going inner and outer corner of the eye if you want to avoid increasing that look of texture, and then using what's left on the brush to really marry all of that together. I'm going to take a look and see. I still feel like this sunspot is peeking through a little bit, so popping a little bit more of my today's color corrector over top. And I feel like that did not color correct my sunspot as good, but did a darn good job on my acne scarring. And those are definitely different depths, so that could be why. Let's try if we pop a little bit of hazel over top of that. Tone that down. Remember, your eyes are sisters, not twins. So don't try and match exactly. It's pretty impossible. Stick this in between the eyebrows. This is a highly textured area for me, so I'm just going to be very light-handed and just create a pop of brightness. Pull this down the nose. Remember, our brightener is drawing attention to the center of the face. And now for the magic step. Let's bring it all together with our perfector. You want to use your perfector anywhere that you layer, for sure. But in general, it's just the greatest way to melt all of your lines together so everything looks really seamless, and you're removing the excess cream makeup from the skin, so everything is still going to have that skin-like finish. So even using shades that are not like perfectly matched to my skin tone, I still have a really skin-like finish. Thank you to the perfector. And the perfector for me is the do not skip step. It's what makes this makeup mistake proof, because it's all fixable with this little guy. You can fix a heavy hand, a cakey or a tacky feeling, a contour line that's too harsh, and generally remove product in the areas that you're prone to creasing, which for me are under my eyes, in my smile lines, and then out here on the outer corner. Okay, so what do we think? I will say a little bit of excess warmth than I would prefer, but we are pretty close. So let's see if we can get a little more matching by taking our bronzer. I'm gonna swirl my brush in. I'm gonna pull that down the neck a little bit. Bronzer is gonna add warmth, so this should match me a little bit more, and it does. Let's finish off today's look with a little bit of illuminator and our lip and cheek. So I always do my perfector before the stage that I would bronze. And I typically bronze on the face, but I have quite a bit of warmth already going on, so I'm not going to add any additional bronzer. But after bronzer, I like to do lip and cheek. And today I chose Melody, and I think I might top it with Homecoming. But I chose Melody on purpose because I wanted to see if I got excess warmth in the skin. Doing something that has like a peach undertone that's matte will hopefully prevent any of that redness from popping through. So if you're somebody that has a lot of redness, rosacea in this area right here, sticking to a shade like Melody, which is gonna have that peachy, like pink undertone to it, should really prevent that redness from popping through. We just go 2 fingers out from the nose, outside of the apple of the cheek, and we follow up that contour line. If you wanna add a little bit of glow to your blush, this is Homecoming. I'm gonna pop that right over top, and it won't really change the color. They're pretty similar, but it does have a gloss finish to it, so it's gonna give you the glow. If you prefer a satin or a matte finish, then you can just avoid this additional color. I'm gonna add some to the lips here in a second, but the last step I'm gonna do is add my illuminator, and I chose something that is a little bit more pink based today. This is Angel. Just gonna press this on to the high points on this side. And there we go. You can add a little bit to the Cupid's bow just to pop out that lip, and even down the center of the nose. One of my favorite spots would be underneath the brow. But these are definitely multi-use products. Okay, we finished up with a little cedar to line our lips. So I used my cedar, oh, that's my bronzer. So I used my cedar contour to line my lips, the same shade that we have on the face. And I put a little bit of Melody and popped some of the Angel Illuminator right in the middle. So this is it, the finished product with our brand new highlights and contours that will be available July 7th for Customer Appreciation Day. And then don't forget, we know we're having a discount with purchase, but we don't know what other promotions and new products, or hopefully the return of some really favorite limited editions are coming. So be sure to check it out. And if you need a custom color match before July 7th, be sure to put match down in the comments and I will get you all taken care of. But I hope you guys take full advantage of the Customer Appreciation Party, and we'll see you again soon.